Here we are at our example 1 from our 4.3, number 5, second set of notes. We know that we're hammering factoring. It truly, guys, is that important, okay? I promise in our next lesson we're going to kind of expand a little deeper, but it is really critical that you guys know how to factor and do it very well, accurately, and fluidly, okay? So that's why we are really hammering it down. Here, for example 1, we're asked to factor down this trinomial. Now, things are going to start to change a little bit where it's not necessarily 1. We're going to see a lot more what we call composite numbers. In other words, numbers for your A value that is not just that number and 1. So like, for example, there we see 5, right? Our A value there is just 1 times 5 to give us that. Versus like when we see example 2, notice how it's 1 and 6, but also possibly 2 and 3. So the purpose of these notes is geared more for these kind of numbers, those composite numbers. All right, so they're going to be a little bit harder on this one. Now, when we do look at example 1, though, the game is still the same. All right, you're going to create your little X box, and we're going to take our A times C, so 5 times 24. Well, that gives us 120. And then we're going to look at our B value, and we see that it is 14. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead then and look at our list for 120. And we have to create all the potential factors that we can come up with. So you have 1 and 120. Most of the time, it's not going to be that value, but you still need to write it down. So you got 2 and 60. We have 3 and 40. We have 4 and 30. It is divisible by 5. We got 5 and 24. We have 6 and 20. We have not 7, but 8 and 15. We have 10 and 12. We have 12 and 10, and then it just starts to repeat. So that's actually the end of our list. And now we have to ask ourselves, which pair combine in any way to give us that middle number 14? Well, 1 and 120 don't, not even close. 2 and 60, nope. And then you go down your list and you go down and you see, 6 and 20 give me my 14 that I need. So that's got to be my pair. So I've got 6 and 20. That combines to give us our middle term, the B value 14. So then we've got our 5A squared plus 14A minus 24. And we're breaking down based upon those values that we just selected. We've got our 6A and our 20A. And since we have a positive 14 here for a B value, then the bigger number, the 20, needs to be a positive. But the 6, in order to get that 14, needs to be a negative. Our 5A squared goes ahead and just drops down. So does our negative 24. And now we're good to go ahead and factor by grouping. So we'll go ahead and split this down the middle. And when we look at our first pair, we notice that we can pull an A out of both of those. So we have A times 5A minus 6. And when we look at our second pair, we notice that we can pull out a 4 from both of those. Normal positive 4. And then we would be left with a 5A minus 6. Now, if you've factored correctly, notice how they both share that common factor. Then we can go ahead and pull that out. So then we have 5A minus 6 times our leftover, the A plus 4. So again, though, that is example 1 from our 4.3, number 5, second set of notes.